Hello, I'm VicStar.
And I'm haddowinc.
And welcome to Abridged sort of podcast thingy
type
bob
thing. So basically, we plan to play some banjo whilst talking about Banjo Abridged. But we, on one hand, weren't able to record the footage. On the other hand, since a lot of this is talking about old episodes, we thought intersplicing archive footage and the odd line and things like that, and just pictures, and might include a bit of gameplay. To be honest, I've probably got a huge archive of gameplay I've recorded.
Well, we have been doing this a while, haven't we? So you should have enough.
So it'll be interspliced gameplay instead in the background, and it'll be a bit more edited than we were planning, but oh well, that means it'll be funner to watch.
Yeah, it should be interesting to watch, or relevant to what we're talking about.
So yeah, basically we sent out a thing for some questions, as you may have seen in the August and November updates.
Well,
yeah, and we got some responses. We got three.
Thank you for that.
Got three quite good questions here that we're going to go through, but we're also going to talk a bit wider about the series for anyone who's interested, and kind of intersplice those questions into it, kind of use the questions as a fuel for further discussion, as it were.
Episodes, characters, and just general chit-chat about our favourite Abridged series.
Indeed so. Series conception, which was 7 years ago now.
Almost 7 years ago.
Almost to the day, because we're recording this on the 12th, and the first episode went live on the 14th.
Can't believe it was so long ago.
We must have recorded it in October sometime.
That's crazy.
So
OMG, I can't believe it. I can't believe I just said that.
And it's quite interesting being sat here now with a proper desk mic that records well and stuff like that. We've been using these. We got two of the exact same type of mic. One Vicky has, one I have, and they work really well. But the first episode we recorded using basically a shitty little headset.
But hey, the fact that we even started doing this, I mean,
yeah,
I do like the very first episode because it really just opens our eyes up to the possibility of doing YouTube videos. I mean, we were big fans, and we still are, of Adam West Lapdog, Mr. Karibo, and over the years we've gained some more ones that we like watching, like Purple Eyes and Team 4-Star. But it's just, we really were interested in having a go ourselves, so we wanted to do something that was close to our hearts, and we knew what to talk about, so that's how Banjo Abridged began.
I think it took us quite a while to write the first episode.
Well, it's always hard when you're starting from fresh.
And then
but I just love the concept of the game as well. You've got this big evil witch, and you've got this tiny little girl that you have no idea where she lives. I mean, there's not enough rooms in Banjo's house. There's not even enough beds in Banjo's house. She's just in the neighbourhood, and this is witch decides, wait, you're too pretty, you need to come with me and kind of become ugly on this big ass complicated machine.
Yeah, it's almost takes
what's going on here?
Takes almost nods to a lot of different old media, arguably there's a little bit of the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, arguably there's a little bit of Mario in there as well.
Arguably a little bit of the Teddy Bear's Picnic, because that's in Grunty's theme.
Yes.
And it's quite interesting how all those mix, because obviously Banjo-Kazooie started off as Project Dream, which was about a boy going to a giant's lair to save his girlfriend, and the giant eventually became a witch, and the boy eventually became a bear.
It is interesting though how a witch, in the first, we were talking about this, first couple of bits of the first game.
Which one do you think?
Yes, I do speak English. She's very magical, and it's all about the magic power, and she's shooting power to her wand, and a little bit of technology, and then technology kind of seeps in a bit more, and she's less magical and more reliant
on tech. Yeah, as the series progresses, Grunty goes more from depending on magic to depending on her technology. It kind of is mostly magic in the first game, it's mostly tech in the second game, but she still uses her magic. And then, nuts and bolts. And to be honest, Grunty's Revenge as well is Mecha Grunty. It's basically
another robot.
I'm a light sleeper. Yeah.
It's actually quite loud. You just think...
Although we're probably not going to talk too much around the other two games here because the Banjo series is kind of
mainly the original game.
The original two are kind of the good ones. Grunty's Revenge is alright, and then Nuts and Bolts is fine, but it's not really in the spirit of things.
No, it's just the wrong animation, it's the wrong sort of storyline, it's basically the wrong... It doesn't hold the same element of the Banjo-Kazooie franchise as all the others do.
Yeah, the worlds were just too big.
And the concept of making the cars was just not on point. It was just too random. I mean, the whole point of Banjo-Kazooie is collect the puzzle pieces, and you open the doors with the musical notes. You don't make cars. It's
yeah. You got some vehicle game in my Banjo game, or did you get some Banjo in this vehicle game? You can't tell. Anyway, although to be fair, no, I haven't played much of it, so... But then, it's one of those games that I don't have much intention to play more of, either.
I've played a little bit of it, and what I've played of it, I have enough of.
You've had enough.
I've had enough. But Grunty as a character, I really like Grunty as a character. She's funny, she's mean, she's... just hilarious because she always gets stuff wrong. She's like a cartoon baddie from the 90s. She just has a plan and she's been all evil about it with her evil cackle, and then it just goes wrong. It's hilarious.
So what do we do now? They're going to head here next.
It's fine. They still need to get past Klongo and my terrible Tower of Tragedy quiz.
Your beaten up minion and a quiz. Do you really think that will work?
Sure, why not?
How does the quiz stop them?
Wow. They compete against you and Blobby with their knowledge of the game up to this point. And if they lose a round, we'll drop 1 ton weight on them.
Okay, but how about this? We just drop a 1 ton weight on them when they enter the room.
Where's the fun in that?
Are we talking about in-game Grunty or Abridged Grunty?
Abridged Grunty.
In-game Grunty, well, still doesn't really do that much. Like, the whole thing with like the quizzes and stuff like that, it kind of gets translated into the Abridged a bit. Is that Grunty's really like having fun almost as well. Like, she does sometimes makes calls that are not even in her own interest.
Ooh, they've entered the pot of gold. It's time to explain the rules to them for the mini game. I do like the idea of, I always have this idea of, when you first walk through the entrance of the very first game and the very first episode of Banjo Bridge, she's there and she's put Tootie in the machine and she's like, ha, 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 and she's going to change this girl into a big fat hag. What does she do for the rest of the time that Banjo and Kazooie are exploring like her entire lair? Which is huge, by the way. It's like a mansion on top of a mansion connected to another mansion.
Yeah.
And how do we manage to get there in time? It just doesn't feel like enough time from the front door to actually Tootie being in the machine. It feels like she should have been changed about 50 times, 100 times.
It was such a scary cutscene as a kid, though, the game over one, because you're like, oh no, I failed, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is one of those things where she's just taunting the player as they play, which is quite fun. But I think I think there's one episode where we do it as like an intercom announcement, and we can just hear Grunty like talking to the employees.
Shut up, it's my lair. I can use the intercom as much as I like. Staff announcement, remember that Friday is Wacky Tie Day, so you'll all be better have wacky ties. And that better be an evil wacky tie. Yeah.
Like, remember, Friday is Wacky Tacky Tie Day. You better be wearing
the industrial
ties.
One. Was that in the industrial one?
No, this was in the lair. In the industries, we also... Because we had it in Tui that they were actually just watching Banjo and Kazooie like go through whilst trying to think up these schemes.
Yeah.
Almost like a Saturday morning cartoon, like you say. You got the three sisters there kind of discussing things.
You got dear old Klongo. I like Klongo. He's just... I like the abridged German version of Klongo, and I like the game version of Klongo. He's just he just wants to be bad. He wants to please his mistress. And again, 90s villain, he just fails so badly.
Yeah, he is traditional 90s henchman.
Wow. Just
until he gives up because he doesn't want to get beaten by Grunty again.
yeah. So he keeps going back to her and she keeps beating him up.
I think that's one of the jokes we make as well, is why would you beat him up if you want him to go back and try again? Surely you're like injuring your own fighter.
Yeah.
Like, you're sending him back damaged, and he's just going to get beaten up again if he couldn't do it last time.
And last time he managed to beat them, they managed to beat him
At 100%.
at 100%, and then send him back at like 80, and then 50, and then like 40%. No wonder Banjo and Kazooie keep winning.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what do you think of Banjo?
See, I find it interesting because basically Banjo and Kazooie, when we were deciding we were going to do this series, I said, what kind of voice do you want to do for Kazooie? Because I was like thinking of different voices for Banjo. Because Banjo, if you go by his actual voice clips, he kind of sounds a bit like, he almost sounds not Bottles, but like
Yeah.
and that would kind of be in the basis. But you're like, I'll forget it if it's not my regular voice.
And to be fair, there's so many times over this entire 7 years I've gone, what do they sound like? And had to rewatch old episodes to get my voice back on track.
Yeah.
So the fact that Kazooie is my own voice is very handy.
And the thing is, because obviously because we started this series, when we started the series I was 15. Banjo has a kind of almost a higher version, like he has there's less depth, there's less force put on it because it needs to almost be a higher voice.
Yeah.
So Banjo's a bit more like this, like there's not the underweight to it.
Yeah.
Hey Kazooie, and it's also always going, all the inflections are always going up. Like, hey Kazooie, well I don't know, and like it's always like, you know, a bit more dumbed down.
I would have been what, 19?
Yeah.
So my voice is just the same. Probably a bit different.
Yeah.
I don't know. Once I got comfortable with the character, I've got to admit the idea of sitting here talking into a mic has always been a little bit daunting, but I got around that pretty quick.
I still find the sound of my own voice weird, like when I do the update videos and stuff like that. Possibly that's why I add a little tinge to Banjo, so it doesn't feel like I'm talking my own voice.
But I've got to admit, definitely in the early, well, I say in the early episodes, but in every single episode, there's always outtakes.
Yeah.
There's always outtakes. There's always a line I do wrong, or a word I can't say, or just a definition on the wrong word, and there are giggles, which is the main reason why we do it, because it's a barrel of laughs. But I like Kazooie. It's been fun being her because she's a good character. She's sassy. She beats up people. She can fly.
Yeah, no,
she's a natural redhead as well.
Sure. Okay then. No, I like writing Banjo and Kazooie's like interpersonal dialogue, and to be honest, the series wouldn't have even survived if they didn't have like good banter and chemistry between them.
Where have you been?
Just walking over.
Just walking over?
Yeah.
For an hour?
Yes.
Where were you really?
Pachow, pachow! Take that! I told you. Just walking over. But to be honest, in the original, I think when we very first started, like, Bottles was always quite a fun one to write and do voices for, because he was always like the comic relief. He was always just saying stupid things. We're playing for money. Why'd I take my pants off? You take your pants off to play Go Fish? We're playing Go Fish? No, we're playing poker. Go Fish! But then in 2, because he's not there, Banjo kind of becomes that character. Like, it's one of those things, it's almost like the Homer Simpson effect. It becomes stupider as the series goes on. Kazooie, it's time to lock and load. Your butt.
Ugh. But I do like, Mumbo as well. He's a good balance to the Bottles.
Yeah.
Banjo.
And that's the thing, none of them are that, like, just outright dumb, and none of them are ever like cruel to each other. Because I always find that bad. I don't like comedy series where the characters are just outright like horrible to each other. Like if it's not drawn from like their character traits well. Whereas Banjo, he'll say stupid things, he'll do stupid things, and he'll say stupid things to Kazooie, but it's all kind of like out of his own. Like he's just a bit daft.
I've got to admit though, you're saying about voices. One of my favourite voices to do, apart from Grunty, when I've had to remember how much emphasis. I'm sitting here actually going, no way, no way, checking on the emphasis of the laugh.
Which is something we make a joke about in an actual episode when Grunty says, I've been practicing my laughs.
But it's Humbawamba. I like doing her voice. Because she's very breathy, like this. And it's quite fun to do. And it's a shame she's not in more episodes. Humbawamba.
And to be honest, like Humba Mumbo both sound quite close to their voice clips as well.
Yeah.
Which I think, to be honest, for most characters we try to do that unless we have a better idea.
Apart from Banjo and Kazooie, I think. Because even Grunty is quite similar to that.
Yeah.
The laugh you get in the actual
gameplay.
gameplay.
And that's the thing, like I think it's episode 13, you had to do an actual proper Grunty laugh for the end of it. It sounded really good. Like,
that was fun.
So yeah, but anyway, we should probably start doing some questions now.
Thank you for sending in the questions.
Yes.
Because it's been fun to read through them.
And to be honest, they've made us think as well, because that's the best question. Whenever somebody is doing a Q&A, I think questions that make them think are always really good. So anyway, the first question that I've got is from GamersComms, and it's, have you ever thought about doing other Abridged series on different other video games like Conker's Bad Fur Day, or even doing your own version of Zelda Abridged like Adam West Lapdog?
Now, Conker's Bad Fur Day, I haven't actually played.
No.
So that's something I do feel very strongly about doing a Abridged series. It has to be something that you know, like inside out, like you know the characters very well, so you know kind of what you're getting yourself into, and you know where the humour's going to come from.
Because that's how you kind of make the best jokes as well.
But when we first started doing this, we were very inspired by Lil Karibo and Adam West Lapdog, and of course Adam West Lapdog was doing his own Zelda Abridged, which you might be able to tell by the way some of our earlier episodes are set out with the introduction and end.
Because I was going to say, from watching an old episode, you can absolutely tell that those are the two main contributors, because the opening and ending cards for Banjo-Kazooie Abridged were very much based off Adam West Lapdog's for his Zelda Abridged. And obviously Bottles is basically Tristan.
Yeah, he is.
So a massive steal from very early in the series.
But I think the main thing about doing an Abridged series is we would never not do a Zelda Abridged just because it's already been done. We just need to be able to bring something new to it.
Yeah.
We like the idea of having our own original concept. We don't like the idea of being too heavily influenced by other gamers.
Yeah, I think
Other Abridges.
because the thing is, I have had ideas surrounding Zelda before, like in general, just as I've been playing the games myself. But I wouldn't want it just to be this exact same, even the exact same style as Adam West Lapdog. I'd want it to be very clearly visually, and it's how it's edited, how it's produced, distinctly different.
And Banjo-Kazooie, we have seen some other Banjo-Kazooie Abridged, but we were able to start it at a time where there wasn't much out there, and we've been able to really do our own spin on it and really focus on each episode as it comes to have our take on it. But to be fair, Philip does the main script writing, so any good jokes thanks to him.
I know, Vicky's quite good at the improv. Where she decides she's not going to read my script. She's going to ad-lib. I'm
going to say whatever I want. And somehow it works. Most of the time it doesn't, but sometimes it does. Through the joy of
yeah, because when we first started, there was another Banjo-Kazooie Abridged, but I think that one stopped after like 4 or 5 episodes. And
that's something we've said from the beginning. If we're going to do this, even though 7 years ago, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it to the end.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of completing a series. If you start it, you finish it.
Not nuts and bolts though.
No, fuck nuts and bolts. I mean, whoops. Just
No,
bleep me out.
That series, there just isn't enough interesting about that game to make a series.
And to be fair, those are just done as
Those were kind of done as side videos anyway.
Yeah, if it's done as a one-off or side video, that's different. But I think past 5 episodes, you need to complete the series.
Yeah, like if you're gonna give up quickly.
Yeah, second episode in all.
Well, to be honest, that's part of the advice they give people is fail faster, because then you can get on to the next thing, and then you're like learning and improving and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Or complete it. Don't stop halfway through. On the subject of Adam West Lapdog, do you know, I was looking the other day, we have done the entirety of Banjo-Tooie Abridged since he made the last Majora's episode.
That's crazy.
So we've made 25 episodes in the time it's taken him to complete Majora's Mask. If he ever does.
If he ever does.
Please
do. If you're watching this, Adam West Lapdog, please do.
And yeah,
awesome.
if you're watching the Adam West Lapdog, holy shit.
Yeah, at the same time, hey.
Huge fan.
Huge fan.
And yeah, you're just so naturally funny, it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. Really is. So, continue doing that.
But yeah, one of the interesting things I think came up in an interview with him once is that he, over time, because obviously one of the reasons ours change in look over time is because we started off on Windows Movie Maker, the same as he did. And then we jumped over to Vegas, and then as I've learnt Vegas, it's become more and more polished. But he jumped over to Vegas, but because he'd already distinctly done the style of Windows Movie Maker, he keeps making them of that to look like that.
Well, I suppose if you have, he's very known for that sort of style, and all his episodes are like that. So
yeah, no, I appreciate that kind of consistent look.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things, isn't it? I think that's why seasonal formats for shows, like even how TFS do their Final Fantasy Mission Abridged.
Yeah.
Because when you have a break between series, you can look at how they're produced and change things then.
Yeah.
Because I think certain series which go every week without fail, there's not the time to do that kind of review. But that's not abridging related. That's just general YouTubing and TV making.
So if we could do a series of something, what would we do? What do you think? What would you like to do?
I think that's what's on our minds at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, with duo banjo coming to an end.
Because the thing is, I would not do another game like Banjo in the nicest possible way. That's no ukulele, no hat and time. Because the thing is, the plot bits are great, but there's just too much to fill in the middle. So you could do like a one-shot maybe. Probably still wouldn't. But then you're still having to skip through the entire middle section of the game to go to where the cutscenes are. So it'd have to be something with more plot, so that they make it a bit easier to write. Because some episodes came really easily, and some of them I really like because we put our own plot through them. Like, we connected the events using some kind of narrative.
Idea of our own.
But some episodes were like, we're trying to connect all these random ass activities to each other.
I had to go writing a Mario Galaxy one, but it kind of didn't happen because we found out that Mario Galaxy, or even Mario, just generally nothing, it doesn't happen. Nothing happens enough. There's not enough storyline. It's basically gameplay.
Yeah.
Because of course the main story is the princess gets kidnapped, Mario goes after her. And I know there's a lot of heroes that don't talk, but when the storyline is that simple, it's very hard to do much more with it.
Yeah, I think it would have to be a game with more plot. If it was another game like Banjo-Kazooie, we're much more likely just to sit down and do a let's play, because then we can crack jokes on the fly. Yeah. It's a lot less difficult to produce. In the nicest, the best possible way to.
What's that cat game we played?
Oh, Battle Block Theatre.
I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
Again, there's no much storyline that you could really use with that, but it gives you a lot of space to create your own storyline that you could
Oh yeah, that was our Let's Play, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's
And
still
I
up
liked-
on Game Bring Knickers. Plug.
I really enjoyed playing that.
Yeah.
And I think to do an abridged...
You wouldn't be able to abridge that.
No, but to do an abridged series, you really have to enjoy the game.
Yeah, you have to love the game, and the game has to have enough stuff, enough plot points to make fun of or poke. Then you need to have enough ideas, basically. So I don't really know.
But when we know, you guys will be the first to know because we'll have a go making it.
Yeah, we're going to be... It might not even be an abridged series. It's whatever we think we could do a good job of making.
Yeah.
Because obviously, over on my other channel, there's things like podcasts and stuff like that.
Plug.
Plug. And Vicky's going to be on it in a few weeks. Plug. So the thing is, we want to make something that's like fun for us to make and like.
No. I'm plugging fun here.
And it's kind of like characteristically us. So even if it wasn't something that had the subtitle, the Abridged series, it would still be very much a Abridged Big Knickers production.
Yeah.
Even though it would make our channel name a bit weird.
Well,
weirder.
Yeah, our channel is pretty weird. But I stand by it. But the main thing is that we do what we find is fun. And if you guys enjoy watching it and you enjoy, it's all the better.
Yeah, we're always open to ideas as well, but just please don't be offended if we don't take them. Because we are going to do what we're going to do.
Yeah. But the fact that anyone watches it is
amazing.
Like, crazy amazing.
Yeah.